Hello and welcome to this 10-minute sequence for lazy glutes. My name is Joelle and you may want one or two cushions for today. I'll be showing you a couple of poses with and without. And we're going to get started here on our backs. So take your time getting here. Remember never to force yourself or push into any pain today. Just bring the feet about underneath the knees and we're going to lift up into a bridge pose. So already here we've got the chance to activate our glutes. You might even take your hands and grab your booty with them just to make sure those glutes are nice and switched on. Lazy glutes are also sometimes known as gluteal amnesia, which is a little bit of a mouthful. But if you think about it, our glutes are basically the central hinge of our body, and they control the whole lower half of the body, which is a lot of responsibility. So when our glutes are weak, that means other muscles have to pick up the slack. You can bring the hips down now. And now just turn the toes to the outside and we're going to lift back into a bridge and then just lower halfway. So you can go up and down, just find the right rhythm, the right pace for you, and make sure to squeeze those glutes every time you're pressing up. So if our glutes are weak, then that means other muscles have to pick up the slack here, like our hamstrings or our back or other muscles. So it's important to incorporate some motion like we're doing here, along with other parts of the body. And now you can release that motion. We'll come onto our sides. You can either stay up on the elbow or you might come all the way down and just rest your head to the side of your bicep. And either way, we're going to start clamshelling that top knee open. So as you can see, I'm on my left side now and lifting my right knee up and down as I keep the toes of both feet together. But if you happen to have started on the other side, no worries. We're, of course, going to do both sides as we always do. We will incorporate a couple of nice stretches throughout today's routine as well, just so our glutes don't hate us too much. Beautiful. And now let's extend that top leg, turn the toes down towards the ground, and then start lifting and lowering that top leg in a straight position now. So keeping the toes angled somewhat down towards the floor makes sure that we're really isolating this movement to the outside of the hip and into the glute. And this is one of those movements that tends to be a little bit trickier than it might look at first. So that's probably enough of that. Great job. And we're just gonna come up and over onto the other side, whether that is left or right for you. Again, either staying up on the elbow or maybe releasing down with the ear on the biceps. And again, we'll start with those clamshells. So keeping both feet together, opening and closing that top knee, and making sure, again, maybe bringing a hand to the glutes just to make sure that that's actually what's working in order to open and close that top knee. And give a thought as well to your abs, maybe pull them in just a little bit, keep them nice and awake as we work to wake up those lazy glutes. And let's extend that top leg out now, turn the toes downwards, and we'll start lifting and lowering that straight leg again. So weak glutes or lazy glutes or gluteal amnesia, whatever you want to call it, can happen to a lot of us, largely because of how much sitting many of us are doing these days, and it's often also linked to having tight hip flexors. So really most of us probably have lazy glutes to a certain extent, which is why it's so important to wake them up once in a while. So good for you for taking the time today. Now let's turn over onto our stomachs. And you could stay up on the elbows here. I actually like to release down and rest my forehead just on the back of my hands here. And again, keeping a nice activation in the glutes and keeping both legs straight. We're just going to lift up one leg here, a couple of inches, set it down, and then switch sides. So just start alternating at your own pace here. Asking yourself again, is is this motion coming from the glutes, which it should, so you shouldn't feel any pain here in the lower back or any other part of the body ideally. And again, keeping a little bit of activation in the abs can help with that here too. Wonderful. Let's press back up here. You can come onto hands and knees. And we're going to swing the right foot in front of the left. So we're basically swinging the right knee on top of the left here actually for this shoelace pose stretch. And if this is a little bit too much, you might bring one cushion under your seat here and maybe a second cushion in between the knees here. So always options to modify and make the pose your own. And you could close the eyes here. This is a deep glute stretch, also known as cow face pose, funnily enough. Personally, I like calling it shoelace pose. Great job. And from there, we can just come forward back onto hands and knees. And we're going to pick the right foot up and start kicking the sole of that right foot up towards the ceiling. So we're keeping both knees bent here. And we're just imagine you're giving little taps onto the ceiling. And this will definitely get those glutes firing. So bring that right knee back down, maybe wiggle a little side to side, and we'll just switch over to the left side. So now the left foot is stamping a hole in that ceiling. We're keeping both glutes engaged, really feeling that left glute work here. Very nice job. And we can set that one down and we'll take that shoelace or cow face pose on the other side. So just swing the left knee on top of the right. Again, option to bring one or two cushions underneath your hips or one or two cushions in between the knees. You can also experiment with how close the feet are to the body. Maybe bring them a little closer or a little bit further away. And think about you're sending the breath way down deep into those glutes, inviting them to release a little bit of the action that we've been building up throughout this sequence. I'm just turning to the side here so you can see what we'll do next. We're just going to bring the cross of the legs a little bit deeper now here into a fire log pose. And again, this is a great one to either sit up on a couple of pillows or bring pillows or props in between the knees here. So our left shin is directly on top of our right shin. And if you want to go even deeper, not that you might need to, you could twist over to the right and bring the left elbow to the sole of the left foot to really get deep into the glutes. And I think we all deserved a little bit of a leg shake after that. Very nice job. So we'll just take that fire log pose on the other side, bringing any props in between our shins that we might like to, or sitting up. And of course, there's always that option to make things even a little bit more intense for yourself. If you feel like today's a day you might like to try that by bringing the right elbow to the outside of that right sole of the foot. In the description box below this video, I will make sure to link a couple of related videos, including 2 different ones for tight quads and hip flexors. Again, those do tend to go hand in hand with lazy glutes, so you might want to try those out as well. And now let's come into a cobbler's pose by bringing the soles of the feet together, or you might choose to do this on your back in a reclined cobbler's pose. Your choice. And we're just going to take a couple of nice deep breaths here, releasing any remaining tension at all in the glutes. You did fantastic work today. Think about trying this session, building up to it about 3 times a week to make a difference in your glutes. And let me also thank Gurpinder Singh and Gary Playford, who requested this glute sequence. I hope that it helped. And as always, I look forward to seeing you again soon in another video. Please do like, comment, subscribe. I love hearing from all of you. Thank you for practicing with me today. Great job, and namaste.